Remember a few years ago when Americans took to the streets by the thousands to oppose Washington's plan for amnesty for illegal immigrants? If you answered yes to that question, you're definitely not a member of Congress. Now, only 3 years after Americans spoke loud and clear on this issue, amnesty is back. But this time it's a Democratic president and his allies in Congress who are pushing it. And if health care reform was any indicator of how these politicians feel about the will of the people, which is overwhelmingly against amnesty, we should expect a bumpy ride ahead. Luckily, we've been down this road before, and we know what kind of attacks to expect from liberal politicians and their surrogates in the media. We can expect to be called racists, xenophobes, and bigots. And we can expect to be told that we're simply uncomfortable with the waning influence of white Americans. Yet in reality, we are just people who believe that citizenship is a privilege to be earned, not a prize to be stolen. But there's more at stake here than just basic notions of America's civic ideals. There's also the tremendous threat that our nation's porous borders present to the American people. Consider the case of Rob Krentz, a cattle rancher in Arizona. Krentz lived only about 20 miles north of the Arizona border. Though illegals frequently trespassed on his property, once even robbing him, he was still a man with compassion for his less fortunate brethren from south of the border. While Krentz was known to call Border Patrol on more than one occasion, he also tended to the needs of the illegal border crossers that wandered onto his property, making sure that they had enough food and water to avoid starvation. In late March, Krentz's big heart got the best of him. After telling neighbors that he was going to go help an immigrant who had wandered onto his property, Robert Krentz went missing. After he had failed to come back several hours later, friends went looking for him. They found Rob and his dog shot to death in a remote corner of their Arizona ranch, and they found footprints leading back to the other side of the Mexican border.
The shooting death of rancher Rob Krentz in Cochise County is believed to be the work of an illegal immigrant. That's according to investigators working the case who say Krentz tried to flee the scene. Now this incident has federal lawmakers saying the stakes along the border are much higher.
Americans are united on the principle that we should have the final say over who enters our country, how long they stay here, and what they do while they're here. We will not tolerate more Rob Krentzes gunned down in cold blood because the federal government can't carry out a task as basic as preserving national sovereignty as protecting our borders. The American people have demanded action. Well, once again, where's the fence? Where are the effective border patrols? We do not underestimate the challenge, but the challenge for us is an administration and a Congress obsessed with amnesty, not security. That is unacceptable. That's this week's Freedom Minute.